Okay, good afternoon everybody and welcome to this very last session on the media stage. This topic in the afternoon is about harnessing genetic resources for improvement of roots and tuber crops. Normally genetic resources are always at the start of our strategies or our projects, but now we're at the end, and that means that we're gonna close this session like with broche d'oro, like with an important place for genetic resources. We have four experts on the topic this afternoon. We have Claire Hersey, the cassava program leader from SIAT. We have Joe Tome, the director of the Agrobiodiversity Research Area, also from SIAT. We have Luis Castello from Embrapa Genetic Resources and Biotechnology. And we have Songbi Chen from the Tropical Crop Genetic Resources Institute and from CATAS. What is this topic about? First of all, roots and tubers are traditionally considered neglected in terms of investment, yet understanding crop genetic could unlock hidden potential to improve yields and nutritional benefits. And I think many of the technologies and the presentation on genomics, metabolomics we've seen in the morning, they are particularly of value if we can access a wide genetic diversity. But how can researchers prioritize investments to ensure these crops remain beneficial for smallholder farmers and yet stay commercially competitive? These crops also contribute to genetic diversity in ecosystems, and I think we all know that genetic diversity, particularly of land races of the roots and tuber crops, are still very important for the livelihoods of the poorer communities in traditional settings, and that's true for almost all of the species. Plant genetic resources are also the basis for food security and an important component of agrobiodiversity and the national heritage. And also that has been recognized with the international treaty, farmers' rights, etc., increasingly during the last decades. But how can we prevent genetic erosion, continue to have ongoing evolution and links between in situ and ex situ farmers at the same time, and also protect the genetic resources for future generations, for the science that we have been talking about this week here at the Congress. So I'll ask the experts very much. You already referred to the importance of centers of origin, and we're privileged here to have Luis Castello, who's from one of the main centers of diversity, particularly, of course, of cassava. And your question is, how can researchers prioritize investments to ensure these crops remain beneficial for smallholder farmers and yet stay commercially competitive?
This is really a complicated question. And but I would answer this question by challenge our group here that I would say in three subjects, three topics that is strictly related to genetic research. One is the enrichment of the collections, germplasm collections, with new material. So we need diversity, not only to use, but to conserve too. That's one thing. The other thing is because the collection that we have, as you asked Joe, on this issue of future for the gene bank, the collections need to be revised because we have a lot of duplication. We have a lot of, I'm telling here, the experience that I have in Brazil. A lot of redundancy that we need to take this thing off and replace for the new things. That's one thing that we should consider in the enrichment of when you go to make priority for research, you should consider this. Okay. The other thing is the forward of a publication of those new technology like genome, proteomic, metabolomic things to explore the utilization of this material. So we do need make priority to this field of things. It's a good example to have, for instance, the case of Peru and Brazil. In Peru, they have such an interesting germplasm, like at the root tuber crops, that we don't know. But we use this kind of thing in Brazil too. Like, for instance, yacon. I don't know if you guys know yacon. Yacon, we drink alcohol drink from yacon, and yacon is fructose accumulate root. So you make ethanol or make alcohol from fructose. That's a different alcohol, and people use that a lot. That's something. So we need to explore this kind of things, and the only thing that the way to do that, use this new technology. Genomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. Okay, the third thing that I would say is apply this technology with those new, those unknown root tuber systems to make, to develop a product processing system to market the material. So with that, we may, can have a lot of benefits to everybody. That I would say those three things.
That's a great answer. And of course, you're pointing out that using the genetic resources as kind of as the building material to apply proteomics, genomics, and to create better varieties is one way to benefit smallholders. Do you see also a role for the future for land races themselves to generate income for smallholders?
Yeah, it is. You can we can add for the smallholder with the land race, the actual land race that they have. We can use. You can develop simple technology with minimum processing technology, adapted for their facilities that they have locally facility to improve the way they use their land race. For instance, one case that I have an experience when I was traveling in Amazon is they extract. I saw in this conference here people marketing or making process to drink juice from cassava. Prepare juice from cassava. Those guys there, they do the juice from cassava, yellow juice with different composition, and sell. They prepare today, bottle that, and sell, and have to sell this in 2 days, because if they don't get raw and they lose what they do. So when I first saw that, I developed a process of remove the water, make the powder of the contents of this juice, and then they replace the juice, the liquid part, when they need them. They don't need to preserve, and they don't need to lose by fermentation and any kind of thing. So, and it is a simple technology. It's not a big deal. So, simple technology with minimal process would help them to preserve the land race that they have.
That's a great example.